Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello, I'm your host, Mrs. M. And if you haven't, make sure you click the link below. That way you can subscribe to my channel and not miss out on anything you need to scale your business to six figures and beyond. How? So I'm going to give you a little bit of everything for government in this particular video. So the first thing is, if you are doing any kind of roofing, right now with the Army Corps of Engineers, they are looking for roofers, small business roofers. They're prime contractors. I will give you the link. They are hiring for the past hurricane that they are looking for someone to go and provide that. So if you know someone that can go, you're doing it yourself, then make sure you actually look at the description where it's going to give you the link. Prime contractors, two companies looking for someone to go because of the past Hurricane Ian, and they're looking for some roofers. So that's the first thing. It's called Army Corps of Engineers. They do a lot. Okay. So I'll give you the link. That way, if anyone out there that's doing roofing, knows that wants someone to do roofing, or they want to partner with someone, they want to go and look at working as a subcontractor, the opportunity is right now, right here. Number two, some of the best contracts, the easiest to get money in the door right now. Now, I'm not going to say it's cakewalk. I always say, think of the government as being fragmented but not broken. So it's sort of like a puzzle. You know how when you're younger, you put the edges of the puzzle, you go on the outside, then you fill it all the way in. Well, that's what you want to do with the government as well. So one of the ways that are the easier ones to win, which we call low-hanging fruit, are going to be service. I'm quite sure you weren't surprised about that. Service contracts are one of the easiest ones. Now that consists of construction, janitorial. Let me make sure I look at my list. Janitorial, construction, research and development, consulting, and IT. Those are the easiest service contracts to win right now. So make sure you check out all things. If you're interested in any of those industries, those are the easiest to get started and win money in. The next one is when we're talking about construction, that's anywhere from new roads to buildings. Very important. So service is the first one. And the next, we're looking at service contracts. Just gave you the list. And then also medical. The government is always looking for medical supplies, or if you're looking for doing the services, and then we're looking at doing the products. So for janitorial, the services would come first, then the products. Services is always going to trump, and then next comes the products. So that is one of the easiest ones, low-hanging fruit. I gave you the list, and get started. Now, of course, you got to meet the basic requirements, your SAMs and all that. If you're doing federal, of course, you're doing state, you don't have to meet those requirements, but I would suggest that you register with your e-marketplace. There is no way you can be doing government contracts, whether it's federal, local, or state, if you're not registered with your e-commerce, your e-marketplace. E-marketplace, just Google e-marketplace, put in your state. It's going to give you that information, and that's where you're going to look for those low-hanging fruit contracts, service contracts, all of those. Like I said, local and state, 20 to 1. Normally 20 contracts to local and state to 1 federal. So it's a little bit easier for people that are just getting started to get started with their local and state than it may be with the federal government. Now, this is something that blew me away. You know, we all talk about doing the middleman, or a lot of people talk about the middleman strategy where they're looking at buying a product and reselling it, or a service. Well, GSA actually had awarded Amazon.com with a contract. They did, and there were 2 other companies, so it was 3 total, and it was in like 2020, but they awarded them a contract where they can, government agencies, instead of coming to, say, us, small businesses, to get them pens and paper and things like that we used to do, sort of like with the middleman doing resale. You put a little bit on there and you send it to the government and put a little bit in. That's what they did with the N95 mask. All of that, when you're looking at doing the selling to the government, has happened for years, been going on for a long time. But recently, they awarded this contract 2 years ago to GSA. So GSA can have government agencies go directly on their platform, their e-commerce, their business B2B platform, where they can actually now, the government can go directly with a P card. Now, if you've heard me talk about that P card, that is within your sams.gov, where you actually accept government credit cards. That's what that P card is, purchase card. Well, the government can now bypass a lot of small companies that may have been providing basic office supplies. Now they can go right in and they can directly buy from Amazon. Now, that can really kind of shift the way a lot of those kind of office supplies are bought, because a lot of vendors were doing that. Envelopes and, little stuff like that. They're no longer having to come to the middleman to resell. They can go directly to GSA. So I said that to say things change so quickly in this space. So you really want to keep up with everything. And if you're looking at doing, I know there was a young lady that wanted to do a call center, and she figured out a way to do a call center. So in other words, you can do real estate, do almost any industry that you have a knowledge of. I would definitely not start with something I don't have a knowledge of, and then look at moving into that. So if you have a career, you're working, you have knowledge, you want to now work with doing something with the government, that is definitely doable. You just got to go through all the steps. Remember, it's not a cakewalk. It is a sprint. It's not a marathon. It's like we say, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. So I said it the other way around. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon. This is something that is definitely a game changer. Can knock that money out of the park. I mean, well more than what you could ever imagine. So as I wrap up, I just wanted you to know things change quickly. Think of your industry. Think of what you can offer. Think of who your buyers are. I've always gone over that in the previous video. Who your buyers are. Always have links that take you to that information. But think about that and just know that things change very quickly. So once upon a time, you could sell office supplies. They're calling that proof of concept, where they make this a pilot program, but trust and believe before you know it, they're going to start doing it with so many other things. So one of the sweet spots is going to be that simplified acquisition procedure, where that's up to threshold up to $250,000. And as long as two small businesses bid on, it automatically has to, by law, go to a small business. So there's so many opportunities out there, so much money, so many contracts in certain industries or certain sectors that we talk about. Service is one of those. So whether it's an IT service, security companies, we work with them a lot, or construction or janitorial, no matter what, if it's service and you know your stuff a little, we say you need to know at least 10% more than the average person, 10%, and you are good. Sometimes 20, 30 is better, but at least 10%, if you're knowing 10% more than the average person does, you should have at least something to work with. But I wouldn't start with something that I have either no knowledge of, or I don't know anyone that knows that. That would not be where I'd start. I would start with something that I know. We all have things that we know. And if we don't, get busy learning. The money is too good, too many contracts out there in so many various ways, whether it is disaster relief contracts, whether it's the type I talked about with the middleman or the resale. There's so many things. Just know what you're going to offer, figure out who your buyer is, come up with that transformation system or statement. How are you going to transform them from where they are without having you to now that they have you? They should have a smile on their face and be very happy. So that's what I'm talking about. Don't forget, if you are a roofer, there are opportunities out there. And also on Army, when it comes to Army Corps of Engineers, they do capability briefings a lot. So visit the local Army Corps of Engineers, look and find one. If you can't find your local, give them reach out to them, and they will definitely send you the information, because they do a lot of capability briefings. And what the heck is a capability briefing? It is where you, instead of writing your capability statement, which is that one-page resume to the government where you tell them what you can do, you're actually saying it on PowerPoint. So it's really easy to construct. Make sure you have that, because a lot of the Army Corps of Engineers, they're small programs, they're small business programs. They have where you can just pop the button, schedule it, no fuss, just boom, you're good. So make sure you check that out, Army Corps of Engineers. And if you want to learn more, then guess what? You can come to All About Government. I'm talking about disaster relief, all of those things. Click the link. I'd love to see you there, and it will be something that I'm quite sure my goal is to make sure you enjoy it and you get at least 1 actionable item you can take right then, right there on the spot. Before it is over, you've got your pen and paper and you're implementing it on the spot. So until next time, be safe and take care. Bye-bye.